All right, ladies and gents, I don't know if anybody will hop on or even see that we're live, but I had teased a little while ago and I had promised that I would come on live real quick and give you guys some first thoughts unboxing on the new Spin It by We Are Memory Keepers. If you're not familiar with We Are Memory Keepers, they were, for years, have been primarily a paper crafting company. They have some fantastic products in the paper crafting space. This is their first venture into sort of the tumbler space. So we will see. This is also kind of the first mass market tumbler turner that we have seen in the market at all. So this is currently available at Michael's, and everywhere else will get it in the fall. But for now, it's available at Michael's. I am just getting some stuff situated on here. Okay, so looks like somebody's on. I didn't tag Katie or anybody, so hopefully some of you guys hop on and see that we're live and find out. So, yeah. So, this is the Spin It by We Are Memory Keepers. They are currently at Michael's for $50, and Michael's is letting you use a coupon on it, so you can get it for basically $25 with your 50% off coupon. I know some people were able to use a 60% off competitors coupon. Michael's are iffy about the competitors coupons because it's a product that no other competitor currently sells. They have an exclusive until the fall. So, this is the box. Like, we're all pretty familiar with a 20-ounce Ozark. It's shorter than a 20-ounce Ozark. Oh, you guys can't see. Let me zoom you out. There we go. It is shorter than the 20-ounce Ozark this way. And height-wise, it's about, it's a little taller than the 30s. So it's a pretty small box, considering it's got a turner inside. So, you can tell I have not even untaped this yet. Let me grab my scissors real quick. Which I thought I had right beside me, but I didn't. Sorry about that, ladies. Who's got the first question? $23.11 today. So did you use a 60% off coupon? I gotta say, it was not the only thing I purchased. So my total, actually it was the only thing I purchased. I think that's about where my total was as well. I'd have to go look at the receipt. Let's see. Since you guys mentioned it. Yep, so my receipt, you can see it was $50. I saved $25 on the coupon, so I paid $26.94. But I used a 50% off coupon. So my understanding is Michael's is being iffy on the 60%. If your Michael's is with it enough to know that they're the only ones that can sell it currently, then you may not be able to use your 60s. But a lot of the Michael's, if you ask them for it, don't even know what it is. So we're going to go ahead and unbox this puppy. I have watched some other reviews, some other opinions. I do have an idea how it works. Some of my initial thoughts, both positive and negative, on this piece. And just full disclosure, anything I say in this video, these are my own personal opinions. No one else's, just mine. Nothing is official, nothing, anything like that. They're all just my personal opinion and observations, okay? So keep that in mind. So you get in the box your turner and your instructions. That's it. That's all that comes with it. So, keep that in mind too. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Keep in mind that it does run from a USB. I have heard, I believe it's in these instructions if I were to read them, that you have to be running it on a the voltage on your tool is 5 volts at the source of the USB wall charger or power bank. So you want to make sure that your whatever you're plugging this into, if you're using an adapter, is 5 volts, which probably means you're going to have to convert your volts to amps because most of them are listed in amps. I am untying this twisty tie. This is a super flexible cord. I kind of am surprised. Like, I expected it to be a little bit stiffer. I'm going to run it off of my computer for today. I do know at Creativation they ran it off of a power bank, so that would be another option, but just because of what I've got nearby, I'm going to run it from my computer. It's not a super long cord, but it's not ungoshly short. It's probably 3 feet. So Kim, here's what I have found out from a couple different sources. They were originally supposed to release in all markets on the 4th. Most of the markets then received a notice that they weren't going to release in their market until the 5th, which is today. It turns out they had a pretty severe shipping issue where a lot of it is still sitting in warehouses and didn't get out to stores. So keep checking your store over the next couple days. I don't know how much will get done over the weekend, but I'm sure that early next week, those stores that haven't had it yet are going to get it in. The other thing that happened is a lot of stores got like 5 of them, which obviously isn't keeping up at this point. All right, so here it is. This is the whole thing. This is the spinet. And let's, I'm going to take the arm off first so we can just talk for a second. So the arm does come off. I'm going to take it off. So from a footprint standpoint, this is a very small footprint for a turner, which is, you know, good and bad, right? So it's a little bit longer than this is a 20-ounce build. This is a 30-ounce build. It's about the size of a 30-ounce belt, not counting the knob on the back. It gives you a little bit of a size reference there. So it's not huge. It's a very small sort of footprint turner. That's nice. It's portable. You could throw it in your bag. You could take it up and downstairs, whatever you need to do with it. From that standpoint, I think this is good. Okay, it's got a variable speed motor, which I think is going to create some questions. Because very few people have worked with variable speeds. We haven't talked about variable speeds from a turner standpoint in the past. You've either had a 2 to 3 or you've had a 5 to 6. So those have been the two factors. I don't love that it's USB, and I don't love that they're telling you need to have 5 volts. I'd rather them just tell you what amperage you need, because that's what your adapters usually say on them. So your typical iPad is 2.1, your phone's 1. So just sort of keep that in mind when you're thinking about it. So base part, this, I don't have anything against it. I don't love that you've got the opening right here. You could end up getting epoxy in it, messing up your motor. I don't know that I have an opinion on it being variable yet. I'm still, the jury's out. I haven't spun anything on a variable speed motor. This piece is where I have some concerns. I just don't love what I've seen of it thus far. That's going to be my way to put it. Do I think that there are going to be a zillion YouTube videos coming out in the next month of ways to modify this? Absolutely. Do I already have some brainstorms myself that I'm going to test out before I share with you guys? Yes. I already have some thoughts in my head about how to maybe make this work for us better. But the first thing I was going to do was just try a couple cups on it so we can see what works on it. So one thing to note, so you have on this piece, you have this lock unlock, that's for screwing it in and out of the base. You have this big cup, little cup, that's for adjusting these arms, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and turn it back in, lock it back into the base. It's gonna be my first goal. So one thing to note is that We Are Memory Keepers, who makes it, has stated that the maximum weight for anything you put on this, jewelry, cup, whatever, is 13 ounces. Now keep in mind, that's not the volume, that's the weight. So because of that, I thought, well, I'm gonna go ahead and pull my scale out here and zero it out, because that's a factor for a lot of us. So now this cup already has epoxy on it. This one's finished, but ultimately you're going to end up with this, so we care what this weighs, right? So this is 15.8. So this would be too heavy for the turner. Granted, it does have 2 coats of epoxy on it and a coat of fabric. So probably this is an Ozark 30, but you're going to probably have 2 coats of epoxy on it anyway. So it's well over the limit already with 2 coats. So this may not be ideal for your 30 ounce Ozarks. I've got a 30 ounce built. This one's empty, obviously, nothing's put on it yet. It is gonna be, I've got a zero, it's waited too long. It is gonna be 13.1 before you add any glitter, fabric, epoxy, anything. I wouldn't spin this on it either. You're going to already be over the weight limit. So that takes all the 30s out of the equation. Can't spin a 30 on it, basically. Those are, well, at least those are the 2 30s I have. Can't spin either of the 30s I use. Let's talk 20s. Again, this one already has epoxy on it. This one is a built. It's 11.4 with 2 coats of epoxy. So I'm okay with that. I think you could spin a 20 ounce built on it just fine. This is a 20 ounce Ozark, and it's 11.4 without epoxy. So you might be cutting it close by your second coat of epoxy, but surely you could at least start with it. And then I just grabbed a couple others. This is going to be super light. This is 4.3. This is the Dollar Tree. I call them practice cups. This one is a Yeti brand. It's 10.8, so it would be fine. And this one is I don't even know who makes it, and it's 8.7, so it would be fine. So basically, we're good with everything out underneath our 30s so far. So first thought, can't spin a 30 on it. Is that a deal breaker for you? You have to decide. I personally do a lot of 30s. For me, not being able to put a 30 on it would be pretty negative, but to each their own. All right, let's start with, we're going to do this a little bit backwards, and I'm going to start with the Dollar Tree practice cups that a lot of us use. So when you think about this dial here and big cup, little cup, I want you to think not so much about, is it like 30 ounces? Because you could have a 30 ounce skinny. I want you to think about how wide is the opening, right? So the narrower the opening, you want it this way, longer. So this is as skinny as it goes. Keep in mind these are pliable, right? So I am going to put this, try and put this Dollar Tree cup on there. Yikes. Okay, so I can get it on there. It was a little iffy, but I can get it on there. Thank you, Melissa. I love that fabric too. And I can fiddle with it and get it straight enough where I feel comfortable with it on there. So it can hold this practice cup okay. These are the Dollar Tree ones. Let's see what it does when we start to spin it. So it seems fairly level. I'm okay with that. You can't really tell that it's spinning super well on video, but it's pretty level. It's all going to come down to what you can get on this arm effectively. It does have a little bounce, nothing terrible. For this size cup, I'm okay with this as an option. You're going to be a little bit close to your motor, but that's okay. Just be careful that you don't drip your epoxy onto the screw when you come up over your rim. And I'm okay with that. I do think this is loud. It feels a lot louder to me than my others, but that might just be me. It's not terrible, but it's louder to me than the microwave motors. So here's where you kind of get into a little bit of a, you have to manhandle this cup to get it back off. So your cup's got to be good and dry before you take it off, which is a little bit of a limitation. A lot of us are used to pulling our PVC off and putting it on a drying rack. You have to really grab the cup. And to that extent, with this cup, there even isn't really enough. Even if I said, okay, well, I'm going to take the whole arm off, the screw to undo the arms all the way inside the cup. This one's only going to adjust the width. So I would have to still use the whole cup to screw the arm out. To me, that's a little bit of a limitation, right? And then I could pull this out. So that's that. Let's go to our 20-ounce built, which we know fits the weight requirements. This is where you're going to get into a little bit of personal preference. I personally like my arms to fit pretty well down inside of my tumbler. Like if this were a football, I would want it well down in there. You can't do that because this is the screw. So you have to go to basically the top edge. So what I'm going to do is put this in, and then I'm going to screw this little guy until it's tight in the cup. So it's just making it slightly fatter with each screw till it feels snug. And then I can screw this in here. And again, I'm having to use the whole cup to screw it in because the part to hold on to screw into the motor is inside my cup. Okay, so already at a 20-ounce built, I mean, I could, okay, let's see. Let me shrink this a smidge. Push my cup in a little bit more. I want to have room to get my rim. Okay, so I wouldn't go much closer than that because I want to be able to get the rim of my cup without getting into this opening of the motor. The end of it is only here. So you have to decide if that gives you enough support. When you start to apply epoxy, you know, when you're down on this end, there's nothing supporting that. At this point, I think it's okay. It's not going to tip. You start getting much longer than this, you start getting into some of the water bottles, and I think you could end up with some tippage. Just that little bit of pressure I put on it, you'll see it's no longer level. You can't really see it from that angle, but it's not, it's angled down now. Can you see that? So you have to fiddle and get it where it's level with the arm, which you have to do with your footballs too. So that's not a deal breaker, but you just have to decide. I am noticing as soon as it started spinning that I feel like it's starting to angle already. And that is louder to me. I don't know if it's picking up on my video, but It kind of reminds me of like a dentist drill. So that one fits okay. All right, so let's try shrinking it so we can get the cup up. But again, to get my cup off, it's got to be all the way dry because I got to pull it off. So I'm noticing that I've got some give here. This didn't get screwed in all the way. Let me screw that back in all the way. All right, let's go with our 20-ounce Ozark. These are fatter than the Bilts if you haven't worked with them, because the Bilts are straight. So I'm putting it in and then I'm tightening it with this thing until I feel like I've got a good grip on the cup. And then I just got to make sure I've got it straight and I feel comfortable with it being level. And it's okay. I mean, it's going to work on the 20s fine. That's okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. It's not drooping. It's not, oh, it's out of frame, but I'm not opposed to that, other than the sound driving me crazy. I do think over time, these little metal prongs, for lack of a better word, that are holding the cups in place, if you adjust them over and over and over again to fit different size cups, I think eventually they're going to start to wear out. At this point, I have not heard a confirmation that they intend to release additional arms, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't. Let's try this. This one's a Yeti brand. I have no idea what size. It was given to me by a wholesaler. It's fatter than my Ozark 20. So same thing, I'm sliding it on and then I'm tightening it up. I am going to make sure that I'm all the way tight. So once as you screw to tighten this piece, or in, that's opening it, you may have to then go and tighten your rod back into your motor, is what I'm noticing. So it seems to be okay with this. So I'm going to say your rule of thumb is your 20 ounces and down, you're okay. I wouldn't go any bigger. You have to decide for you if that sound is annoying. But again, to get my cup off, I've got to kind of manhandle everything. And notice that as you screw this, like if I'm screwing this one to make it bigger, it's okay. But if I have a cup on there with some resistance, when I start trying to do this, it's been unscrewing the whole motor. Let's try this cup. I don't know who makes this. This is a super skinny inside coffee stainless. Again, it came from a wholesaler. So this is one of these cases where this opening is narrower than this is by default. So you have to fiddle with those. And this is what I'm saying. Once you fiddle with those arms a couple times, I don't know that it's going to continue to go back to the same shape. Are you looking for a SKU number? Let me try that. If you're looking for the SKU or the model, try that. I don't believe they have it on the website yet. I have been told it won't be on the website until all the stores get it stocked. That's what the lady at my Michaels told me. But then other people have said if they go to the Michaels website or app and they specifically select their store, that they're shopping in their store, that then they can find it. So this guy's longer. This kind of goes back to the 20-ounce Bilt. The wandy thing isn't going all the way to the bottom, but I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. On anything under a 30, it's okay. But here's what I was saying a second ago. So in order to take this out, I would normally have to unscrew this. Of course, I'm already all the way loose. If I try and like turn the cup on it slightly, it's going to unscrew the whole thing. So this whole wand is coming out now, whether I like it or not. And then I'm going to pull it out. It's called the Spin It. It's made by We Are Memory Keepers. It's in select Michaels so far. All Michaels should have it here soon. And other stores will get it in the fall. So if you're somebody who just genuinely doesn't want to try and build, isn't going to do a lot of cups, keep in mind, you can't take your arms off. You can't swap them out. You can't, at this point. Now, I'm sure that there's going to be some aftermarket things coming out on Etsy here super soon. Like as soon as people can get their hands on it. It is super compact. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not like, do not buy it no matter what. I'm not at that point. Do I think it's the greatest option out there? No. Do I admit that I have some bias? Yes. I personally love the turners that we've described in this group, that we've built in this group, stuff like that. I like that style much better. I feel like it has much more support. I feel like the footballs and the noodles have much more flexibility. But if you're just trying to like, you want something you can buy out of the box in the store ready to go, it's not horrible. It's great for starters. It's not going to hold up to the, I mean, it's plastic. It's not going to hold it. These are going to stretch because you're going to have to form them to every cup to get it to hold the cup, because that's the only thing gripping your cup. This is replacing a football or a noodle. So when you manipulate these and you let them stretch, at some point, I mean, it can go fat. It can go like super fat. But the more you manipulate it and use it for different size cups, I would think that it's going to start to impact the way it goes back. They are retail at Michael's for $50. As of right now, they are letting you use a coupon. You can use your 50% off, which makes them $25 plus tax. Some people have been able to use the 60% AC More coupon. Others have not. So if your Michael's is with it enough to realize they have an exclusive and the competitors cannot sell them, then they probably aren't going to accept your 60% off coupon. That depends on your Michael's. Somebody was asking about a model number. Let me give you, make sure my stuff's not on here yet. That might be another option if you're trying to look it up online or look it up in store. There's the two numbers that they have it. They are calling it Air Spin Dry, it looks like, on the receipt instead of Spin It. So I got mine for $26.94 after tax. So that was a quick and dirty. Basically, your 20s seem to be okay. Your coffees seem to be okay. I've heard that the wine glasses are okay. Can't put a 30 on it. You've already exceeded the weight limit that is in the instructions, even before there's epoxy on it. Check that the voltage on the 205 volt is the same as the source of current at the USB wall charger or power bank. So that's something that you have to think about. If you're using a power bank, ensure that the output is a minimum of 1 amp. I think they all are. Always unplug before changing cups. Unplug and store. So the instructions they're pretty much one page. Like, this is it. This is all they give you. They are selling other stuff. They do have glitters coming. My Michaels didn't have any of that, but some of them do. They do have glitters. From what what I understand, they are a 10-ounce bag for $9.99, and then keep in mind you can use your coupon. So that's a really good price. From what I hear, they are polyester glitter. Don't know if they're solid core or not. Oops, I'm out of frame. I was trying to make it so you could see this, but they also have released their own epoxy. Some stores have that as well. My store also did not have that. It is expensive. Their epoxy, they're calling it an epoxy kit to make it sound like it's a much better deal. The kit consists of your part A, your part B, some mixing cups, and some popsicle sticks. Sorry, stir sticks. And they're charging $79.99. The epoxy is a gallon combined, so it's 32 ounces of A, 32 ounces of B. That's a lot of epoxy. We do not know anything about the epoxy at this point. I don't have a confirmation if it is FDA compliant. I would assume it is, but nothing has been confirmed. I don't think it says anything about their epoxy on the box except to tell you that it's coming. Yeah, it just says epoxy, paint, fabric, glitter, and glue as items on the side of the box. So, I don't know. Even from the box, you can see that they expected it to be for smaller turners, so, or smaller tumblers, and it is. So, do we have any other questions before I wrap this up? Are there any other questions or anything else you want to see? See if this can handle before we wrap it up for today. I'm just giving it a minute because I have about a 45-second delay from what you see on camera to when you guys can comment. But I'm not seeing any other questions. So as always, when we're finish up the live, the recording will be available. You can also, or the replay, you can also always leave us comments after the fact, and we will answer as best we can. So I am actually leaving town tomorrow for a business trip, so I won't have it with me to answer any questions, but I will do the best I can if you have any questions that come up after that point. So I'm going to go ahead and end this because I don't see any other questions, and we will see you guys next time.